All right, we are good. All right, welcome back. It's good to be here. Want to talk about your brand. You are your brand. If you are in a state of lack or a state of fear or uncertainty or doubt, that becomes your brand. And your brand is your business. It is the determiner of it's the ceiling of your success is your own state. And so your brand, why I use personal branding is because it's this beautiful entry point of personal transformation, which if you're on you as an entrepreneur, understand that you are what determines your own success, the level of your success, right? And we have a calling, you have a calling, a purpose, a vision, and it is greater than you. The key here is that it is greater than your past identity. That's true for me, right? It's the fractal journey that we are all on, a continuum of that we are stepping into our greatness. And that greatness is greater than the past identity that is holding us back from achieving it. It doesn't need to hold us back. You are limitless. You are unstoppable, right? It's already the fact that you feel that call within you means that you are already meant to achieve it. That means it already is. That's the power of this, is that you already are your success. You already are fully equipped to achieve what you feel called to achieve. That's why it's there. It's because it's a reflection of your truth, of what you're meant to be, what you already are. So stop acting in a state of, oh, it's away from me, and become now. And that's the power of personal branding. So when you up level your personal brand, you are up leveling yourself, right? That's powerful, because when you up level your personal brand, you up level yourself. When you up level yourself, you raise the ceiling, you increase the capacity of what you can hold in your that reflects in your business, that reflects in your personal life, in your productivity, your focus. Everything transforms because it all hinges on who you are. So your brand, your personal brand, is that direct reflection of who you are, right? So if we're going to work together to develop your personal brand, it can't be at the level of where you are now, because where you are, you're not watching this because right? If you're watching this, you want more. We're here together because we want more collectively. We want to step into our power, into our purpose in a bigger way, have a bigger impact in the world. That doesn't happen with a limited brand. That doesn't happen with a limited identity. And we talk about brand identity, right? I don't do that, right? Brand identity is what are your colors, what are your fonts, etc. Like, how do you show up visually in the world, and like, that's beautiful, powerful work. But I look at, who are you, right? It's the key. It's the fulcrum of all the work that I do. Who are you? Because if you're not clear on yourself, you're missing the foundation of all the work that comes after this. Your message comes from you, and your message is the foundation of all your marketing, right? So if you're struggling with content, when we're told like, oh, you got to post 6 times a day, or blah blah blah, whatever, some guru out there is going to tell you got to post a bunch of times, and they're going to give you a strategy and a method and a how-to, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with how-tos, but the problem where it becomes wrong is if it's out of order, out of sequence. Because if it's not aligned with you, there's dissonance, there's disharmony, right? Dis-ease. You need to be aligned. Your brand needs to be aligned. When you're aligned, it's an energetic power. It's magnetism is aligned, right? Electricity is aligned, and it flows instant. And there's no doubt, there's no wondering, oh, if I flick this switch, is it going to flow? Yeah, you just flick the switch and you know your lights are going to turn on, right? So how about for you? You flick your switch and you turn on to a whole new level. You step into your power, your confidence, your authority. That's where your influence expands, right? And so you tap into that, and your message flows. Your message is what you craft your content from, and content that in that case resonates and makes sense and people actually want to engage with and follow and take action on, because you're here because you want to impact lives. So your content can do that before, like, it provides results in advance, right? When people hear your content, should be shifting thinking, shifting thought patterns, doing something for them. So you're already making an impact. And and it impels people to want to work with you more, right? So your brand will sell for you. So if you don't like sales and you feel stuck on sales and you're like, oh, it feels a little slow, just let your brand sell for you, right? You still got to sell too. Like, let's be real. You still need to learn some level of sales and ultimately get past the limitations and hesitation around sales, because sales isn't the problem. It's people. People have abused the power of sales, but sales is influence. And you're here because you want to make an impact, right? Live your purpose, live your calling. That is influence. When you want to share your gifts with others and positively impact their lives, that's influence. So sales is part of influence. So all that circles back around to, if your identity, right, if you're in your own way, your brand can't grow. That means your business can't grow. Your brand is that reflection of lack if that's the state that you are in. So the way to change your brand is to change you. And when you change you, your business explodes, right? To the degree to which you grow, the degree to which you step into your power is the degree to which your business then reflects that, because your external state is the reflection of your internal state. The problem, the trap we fall into is thinking that, like, oh, this thing externally happened, therefore I feel this way. No, no, no. You feel this way, therefore it's happening. That's the thing. That's the process. That is what life is the internal state reflects into determines our external experience. Excuse me. Oh, it's getting a little stuck. But that's the key. It's transformative. So when you understand, when you own that, it's empowering as much as it's challenging, because of course the challenge is then we have to take ownership of, well, the results I don't like right now are me. And that's the reality. It's true. But when you own that, you realize that's very empowering, because if that's the case, well, then you can change it. Nobody else is in control but you, right? So when you transform yourself, you transform your brand. When you transform your brand, you're magnetic to grow. So another thing, like, people complain about, oh, I'm attracting people that can't buy, can't pay, they don't have money, or I get clients and they don't take action, right? And so they don't get results, and then I'm just frustrated. And I'm frustrated at the people that buy my clients because they're lazy and they're not taking action and they're not doing what I tell them. It's your brand. The issue is your brand. That's it, because you attracted those people. Something's off and you got to fix it. You got to bring alignment. Once you do that, things will get better. You'll attract the right people. A lot of times, one of the things I notice is messaging, right? Messaging is critical. So I always, right, messaging is part of my work, part of the work that I do with clients. It all starts in your identity, up-leveling yourself, your own identity, and creating a brand that's a reflection of that, and then crafting your message. That's the second pillar out of 3. Excuse me. Because your message, if you've got a wrong message, what's going to happen is you're going to attract the wrong people, because your message is what you put out there into the market. Your brand is your brand as well. I mean, brand, absolutely, right? The brand is what they really connect with, but the message is what you're projecting out there into the world. It's like if you had a megaphone and you were able to shout something out to the market, what would that be? That's your message, right? So it's what you share, it's what you write, it's what your copy is, what your content is, all of that. The brand is something more intangible behind all of that. It's your identity and how you infuse that into your brand so that people can build a relationship, because relationship is what sells. Trust, connection, community. Do I know you? Do I trust you? Can I trust you? That is what matters. That's what counts. So your brand is what empowers you to be able to do that, because your brand is what people connect with, because because people are looking for a proxy of human relationship, and that's what a brand is. And so ultimately, it should lead to an actual human relationship, an actual human connection of some form or another, right? How are they going to engage with you further? The brand is the first stage of engagement, of interaction. Your message also likewise, right? So if you're putting out a message that says, I'll get you this big result and it's going to be easy, all of a sudden you will got people now coming to you that want it easy, right? So that's a key thing. You got to look at your message. What are you putting out there? If you're frustrated with the results you're getting, put hard scrutiny on yourself, on your brand, and on your messaging. Don't put it on your clients, on your leads, anything like that, right? Because it's not the market's fault. It's never the market's fault. There are people out there right now that want to hear your message, that are longing to hear your message. So it's up to you to share it authentically and in a real way. And if you're not, don't blame them, because it's not their fault. They're out there looking for you. But if they can't find you, that's on you, not on them, right? That's as true for me as it is for all of us. Okay, so that's why it's important to put this work in, all of us every day, to look at how do we step into that greater, truer version of ourselves. Because that's ultimately what it is. Like I said, it's not about something out there. It's not about becoming something different. It's about not self-development, but self-discovery, becoming that true version of yourself. Because you are made good. You are made right. You are made in the image and likeness of God, right? So you carry that within you. It's a matter of shedding the layers of garbage that have concealed that, hidden that, marred that, right? So it's restoration of a true image, which is who you are, not becoming something, not trying to change your image. That's not healthy. We've already changed our image. That's why we're in the current state where we need growth. And that's a fractal, that's a continuum of human journey. So now I'm just trying to catch my brain back up to where I was in the whole train of thought. Your message, attracting the right people. So it's about putting your brand and your message under scrutiny, right? So once again, if you're putting out a message of, I'll show you how to get this big result with no effort, problem, right? Instead, let me show you how to get this big result without a common misconception. Now all of a sudden, it's still great copy, because great copy is always something that, like, okay, now I got to pay attention. You got me. You hooked me, right? So a little copywriting workshop right now, right, on the fly. So I'll show you how to, I'll show you how to get six-pack abs without doing anything. Problem. Now you got people that don't want to do anything, right? I'll show you how to get six-pack abs without going to the gym. Okay, now I'm interested. Or without doing crunches. Okay, now I'm interested, right? It's like, okay, well, what is it, right? It's something, it catches me off guard a little bit. If I'm looking for it, like, you got to remember that you speak directly to the people that are already looking for you, and that's already just going to accelerate your results. And that's part of the key of branding and messaging, is who are you talking to in the first place, right? So again, I've just noted this a lot of messaging out there is, I'll show you how to get this big result without any work, problem. But I'll show you how to get this big result without a misconception, cool, right? Because it just prompts curiosity and makes me want to engage more, but it doesn't but it's not going to attract the people that are looking for the easy button, the easy pill, right? So if you're getting the wrong leads, you're getting the wrong clients, shift your messaging, be more clear, be more definite, and craft it so it's still good copy, right? So it's still engaging, so it still piques curiosity, because that's curiosity drivers. Open loops. The brain is a closure-seeking machine. So when you open a loop, the brain wants to close it. So without this, well, what is this? Why? How? Right? Now all of a sudden, I want to read more, or I want to follow more, or I want to engage more, right? So that's just, anyway, I love copywriting, so we can dig into that all day, which we do in my group, in my program, right? So I'm talking about these 2 out of 3 pillars. And ultimately, that your brand is the key to your success, because your brand is you. So really what I'm saying is, you are the key to your success, because if you're limited, your brand is limited. If you're limited and your brand is limited, then you're attracting limited-minded people, because you are like attracts like. So if you're in a state of scarcity, there's not enough. That's where sales hesitation comes from as well. There's not enough. Am I robbing from this person? Not if you're providing value. Azariah, what's going on, dude? Good to see you. Right? But sales is never theft if you're providing genuine value. So part of the challenge always comes back to put yourself under scrutiny. If you feel uncertainty about your sales, we got to look at, well, what's your mindset about sales? And also, are you providing the value? If the value's not there, which I bought those programs, can tell you there's a lot of offers out there that are just garbage, straight up. But if you've got a passion, you want to serve people, and you're ready and committed to providing the value, we'll craft your offer in a way that it provides that. And what is value? It's in transformation more than anything else. So what is the transformation that you provide? If you are helping people achieve a transformation in their life, that is valuable. So then there's an exchange. So sales is not about taking, sales is about giving, sharing, and there should always be, right, an equilibrium, right? There's a give and a take. You can't operate in this place of like, I can give and never receive. You got to receive as well, because it's a flow. It's a flow of value. It's a flow of energy. It's like the tide comes in and out. You have to receive as much as you give. Otherwise, you're going to burn out and you're not going to be able to receive or provide the full value to the world that you want to. Why? Because you're burning yourself out, right? So you have to take care of yourself so that you can take care of others. So sales is powerful, because the other thing is sales is ultimately how you shift belief systems, how you shift, because we've all been sold on, or we've sold ourselves on, our current identity. So back to branding, because branding will sell for you. Now depending on how or what you're selling, you still have to have a level of a sales process, right? There has to be some level of what is the threshold? But ultimately, sales is about shifting beliefs, making a new decision. Because when I buy something, what have I done? I've decided I'm going to commit my money, my time, my energy to this new thing that I just bought. Like a course I just bought in the last month, right? And I already went through it all, because that's how I do it. I'm just like, pop these babies on late at night after the kids go to bed, and I'm just going to cruise through the whole thing, soak it in, simmer on it, process it, right? And then it's going to come back out in this content, and I'm sharing it with all of you in my own way, with my own flavor, with my own processing, right? How do you apply these things? Because that's bottom line for me. Everything needs to be applicable so you can do something with it, because when you apply it, that's when you see the transformation in your life. So sales is a shift of thinking, because now I've decided I'm going to go from where I was to where I'm going, right? I see this tool, this course, it was going to provide me that transformation that I was looking for. Okay. It was a simple one, actually, in this case. It was just, I wanted some practical how-to behind a philosophical approach, right? That has to do with some meditation practices. So I wanted to just get a little more tangible, concrete system from this person and then apply it for myself. You know what I mean? So there was that transformation. I wanted to go from some uncertainty to certainty, right? From a lack of clarity to clarity. Sales is clarity. Sales is transformation. So anyway, sales, love it. We can talk about that all day too. But ultimately, your message is sales, because you're selling your message, right? You're selling whatever you are right now. Like, think about it. When you go and you meet somebody on the street and they have a bad attitude, what are they selling? They're selling a bad attitude, right? Right? Like, and have you been around somebody who's super happy, that's exuberant, like Azariah? Like, this dude's exuberant, he's happy, he's great to be around, because he sells positivity. When you're around him, you want to smile. You know what I mean? So you're selling whoever you are. So out of the heart of a man, right? Out of the abundance of your heart do you speak. Out of the abundance of your heart are you. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. So that's who we are. We're selling who we are. So that's why everything for me comes back to branding. You are your brand. So up level yourself to up level your brand. That's why everything that I do with my clients starts there. It starts with you. How do you step into that power, that confidence that's already there within you? It's not something that we, like create or fabricate. That's the word I'm looking for. It's not fabricated. Confidence is never fabricated. Confidence is authentic. It comes from within. It wells up out of your heart, because you just are the human being instead of the human doing, trying, pushing, right? But when you just are, your inspiration flows and action follows inspiration, right? That's a key thing. Sometimes there's a conflict, I notice, where we're like, oh, I want to meditate on things and manifest things, I don't take action, right? Or on the other side, it's the hustle grind mentality. So you kind of have these two polar opposites, unfortunately, but life is full of polarities. And the truth is often found in the middle, in the middle way, in the royal path, as it's termed, which is to find, how do you take these two polarities and find the true way which cuts between them both? Because the truth is, you need to you need to spend time in inspiration. You need to spend time in rest and reflection and act from that state. So it's both. It is both rest and action, which is inspiration, which inspiration means to be in spirit. So in spirit, inspiration, that's the key behind great branding, is when you are inspired, you are in your spirit, right? You are in the truth of yourself, and that will shine, right? That is attractive. That is magnetic. So once again, then if you're being true and authentic, you will attract people that are true and authentic, and you will attract those who are aligned with you, right? That are aligned with your mission, your purpose. And that's exactly what's happening for me. You know, as I've got this group program I'm stoked about called Firebrand, because that's what we're building here is your fire brand, right? Because your brand can be nice or it can be fire. Come join me if you want a firebrand, right? That brand, because a firebrand is what catches, it ignites, it starts something greater than itself. Okay, firebrand, the group. We've got 6 people in there. They're all awesome. They're all committed. They're all, and how? And I barely promoted. Because it just happens. It is. I've talked to some people. It's very natural. It flows, and we've got 6 people engaged, committed, and part of this. And if you're interested, you want to be part of this as well. You know that it's time for you to level up, go to that next place. Just just comment fire here on this live, and we'll have a conversation. I'll share with you the details on the program. But basically, we're going into these 3 things, these 3 pillars, right? Number 1 is identity, and it's you. It's how do you up level yourself? And that's why today, before we launch officially, everybody in the program who's joined early is getting access. I mean, everybody who's going to join, period, is going to get access to this. But I'm doing my mindset training now. Before we get started into the content itself, I'm going to teach everybody the process that I've distilled over years of dealing with myself, right? Because all of this comes from me and my own journey. I don't teach anything that I haven't tried, right, and tested in the fires of just application day to day. Does this work? Can it work? And how do I hold myself accountable, hold my own feet to the fire of actually testing it, right? And not just giving up on things halfway through, putting it to the test in hard ways and finding what is truth. I'm a seeker of truth. And the only way to find the truth is to put it to the test, to see, does this hold up? So I'm sharing with you that mindset process, that mindset, which is the way to dig into what is holding you back and how do you release it deeply from your emotional being, because that's where these things come up from. It's not just, I think this, right? We can change our thoughts all the time. If you watch your thoughts, there's themes and patterns, but if you watch it, you can change what you're thinking all the time, right? So your thoughts are a fast energy. They're just all over the place. But your emotion is the language of the body, and that's where the energy of experiences is stored. So when you have a limitation, you have something you're coming up against, it's stored within you, and you need to be able to release that and change your thinking accordingly, and step into that truer version of yourself, because it's just the limitations we experience are a scar on the face of who we truly are, right? So we're releasing, we're healing, so that you can be a truer image of your true self. You're just becoming more real. So the mindset process is amazing, fantastic. It's going to empower everybody in the group to take this to the whole new level, because that's the real work. Is we're just releasing, we're getting out of our own way to then build the brand. So that's happening now. And then we're going to be diving into identity, which is a whole deeper understanding of who are you and how do you show up authentically. And that's where your confidence comes from. Then crafting message, and then expanding influence. And that comes into places of like, how do you take those first 2 and leverage them out into the marketplace, right? Because your message is so much more than just, we're not just going to sit there and write copy. We're really crafting what is the whole message behind it. What is it that you stand for? And then you take that and you leverage it. And what happens then is your content creation becomes faster, easier, better. Most importantly of all, more aligned, more authentic, more true, right? And also look at, how do you expand your audience? How can you connect with influences in your field? How do you build your presence, build your stage, build your platform, build your personal brand, right? So that you're the authority. You become that category of one. You're no longer just competing with everybody else and blending in with everybody else. It's one of the things that drives me nuts is when coaches in their little tagline, they're like, I'm an author, a speaker, and a coach, and an entrepreneur. It's like, great, you and everybody else. Why should I care? Who are you? What do you do for me? Right? Your message will cut through that noise. And then when you understand the power of influence, you'll know how to craft. You'll map out your content for months at a time in such a way that it's going to be sequenced in a way that it will work with the algorithm to expand your audience and boost engagement, and most importantly, lead to conversion, which is action, which is decision, right? And it'll all be in a way that's aligned with you so that you can make this something enjoyable. It's always work. You know, we are meant to work. I believe that we are, as beings, as human beings, we are made to work, to engage with meaningful work. And that's where we find our fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what fulfillment is. We're looking for fulfillment. It's found in sharing your gift, living your purpose. And your purpose is to share that gift. So that comes innately, that comes naturally to you. Your gifts were given to you. You didn't choose them, right? It's not a video game before birth. You know, it's not one of those RPGs where we get to select all our perks and our skills. You know, it's just we're born and we have it. And it's our job to discover them, cultivate them, and then share them. And that's the path of fulfillment. So if you want to work with me to build your firebrand, to join the 6 others who are now part of this program, and we're growing, we're moving, we're doing some big things already, just comment fire and I'll reach out to you. We'll talk a little more about it, and I'll show you the details on the program, what we're putting together. Azariah, I'll talk about AI in another video. It's a big subject. Happy to talk about it. There's a lot there. Definitely worth discussing because it's a big thing. I mean, to put it short, what do I think about AI? I think AI is a tool. So instead of talking about it in another video, I'll make a video dedicated to it. But to cover it briefly, like AI is a tool. It's a crazy tool that we don't understand, and it seems scary because its capacity, its capability is big, right? But its capability is computation. It's not true intelligence. That's why it's artificial intelligence, because it lacks consciousness. And so coming from, you know, and I'm a sci-fi guy, I love sci-fi, right? So coming from our culture where we're all inundated with science fiction and we think, oh man, AI, right? It's the new Skynet. It's going to wipe out the human race and take over and take our jobs and all these things that we can become scared of. AI is a tool. Everything, and this comes back to this whole point of mindset, right? You're the delineator, right? Do you see opportunity or do you see obstacle? That's it. There's only 2 ways of thinking. AI is either an obstacle, it's something to be afraid of, or it's something that's an opportunity. I look at it as an opportunity. Same thing with power tools. Like imagine carpenters, right? I'm a carpenter somewhat. Done a lot of carpentry, been a while, but as a carpenter, imagine when power tools came out, right? And there was probably a bunch of people that thought that this is it. This is the end of the trades, right? Because these power tools are just going to take over. They don't. You still have to be a good carpenter to use a table saw. You can't buy a table saw and say, go lay my floor. Not going to work, right? So there's a lot of AI stuff that's replacing a lot of low-level tasks, I would say. But the reality is the AI can only produce as good of a product as the input. So it's still up to us to direct it. So if anything, it's the same as running. Like it's just, what is your vision? AI does not have a vision. You know what I mean? It doesn't have a vision. It doesn't have that inspiration. Its inspiration comes from us because we have the inspiration of what are we going to prompt it with. That's what it's going to give us. So it's a really fascinating kind of just reflection of life. Once again, what you put in is what you get out. So what are you going to put in? What are you going to ask for? That's what you will receive. Ask and you will receive. That's your life. AI is an interesting reflection of that, right? So do we see opportunity in it? I see opportunity to make some of my job tasks easier, but it's not replacing my creativity, my inspiration, right? So I don't use it to write my copy. I use it to brainstorm ideas for what I'm going to write about, right? None of my content is just straight copy and paste from AI. I use it, to jog my brain, to get me started. So there you go. There's a brief on what I think about AI. Thanks for joining me on this one. Yeah, comment fire. You want to learn more about the Fire Brand program, which is really just going to be all about how do you level yourself up so you can level up your brand and expand your business, expand your purpose,